Howdy y'all, Jackson here at the Trick Studios, and welcome back to another episode of Outside the Hash. I am again alone, so it's going to be a relatively quick episode. I'm sorry if you can hear my fan running. It is very, very hot right now, and my air conditioning is broken. So let's just hop into it. I'm going to start off in the Canadian Football League, where the Montreal Alouettes beat Edmonton. The Elks 38-28. Trey Ford was the leader in passing. Justin Rankin led the game in rushing, and Stephen Dunbar led the game in receiving. Though Edmonton won all three leaders, they ended up losing the game. So I'll take my dub as a Montreal fan. Toronto was again without Chad Kelly, so screw my pick there. Saskatchewan came away with the win 39-32. Arbuckle did lead the game in passing, though, with 259. Ulete led the game in rushing for the Rough Riders, and Dante Myers led the game in receiving with 125. So he was basically half of Toronto's yards. Over for Winnipeg, BC. Winnipeg came away with the win, so they are off to a good start. 27-14. Jeremiah Molsoli was filling in. So they were playing. So he was playing. They were playing with their backup. So that is an asterisk on their loss there. He had 281 though, so he did lead the game in passing. James Butler led the game in rushing, though with only 44 yards, and Justin McGinnis with 94 receiving yards, leading the way for the Lions, though once again led all three but lost the game. Ottawa also beat Calgary in the final game of the week, 20-12. Vernon Adams 218. Daniel Adedobe with 96 rushing yards, and Clark Barnes with only 61 receiving yards to lead it. So there's a lot of spreading the ball around for the passing that was happening for 61 to only be the leader. Winnipeg, 2 good wins, so they are sitting at 2-0 with the highest SRS by a pretty wide margin. Montreal leading the East, Saskatchewan leading the West with their one extra game played. Winnipeg, Edmonton, I'm going to go Winnipeg. Montreal, Hamilton, I'll go Montreal. Saskatchewan, BC, Saskatchewan, and then Toronto, Ottawa. I'll put a contingent with Kelly. If not, I'm going to take Ottawa. And then I'm sure that will blow up in my face if he doesn't play, and then Arbuckle wins. But oh well. So Arbuckle is leading the league in passing. Trevor Harris, Davis Alexander, top 3. Diedrich Mills, Oleta Peterson on our rushing, and then Hatcher, Lawler, and Coxey are our receiving leaders through the first few weeks. Right now, once again, since the season is early, there is still a crossover for that third spot in the East. So that is what the play season looks like if we started things today. We will hop over to the LFA, which just had their final week of the regular season. So the Cadillos, they avenged their loss of a perfect season by stopping the Mexicans from getting their perfect season, winning the game 30-17. Jeremy Johnson led the game in passing, Jeremy Knight in rushing, and Keon Lassane led the game in receiving. The Raptors beat the Gallos Negros. Xavier Bullock was the leading passer with 182. Luis Tinoco with 70 rushing yards, and James Hop with 97 receiving yards. The Dinos beat the Reyes, not surprising because the Reyes are Garbo. Brandon Contreras led the game in passing, though, with 197. Chance Bell with 112 leading the league leading the game in receiving, and Artie Henry with 80 receiving yards. And then the Archangels beat the Fundies, or the Osos, but the Osos, they benched all their starters, so no surprise that they lost. Abel Rosado, 200 passing yards, Joshua Mack, 80 rushing yards, David Hopps with 100 receiving yards. He had exactly half of, excuse me, exactly half of the team's receiving yards. So the semifinal games are Archangels versus Mexicas. I will go the Mexicas, and then the Cadillos versus the Fundies. I hope here that the Fundies get the dub here, but I'm not. I'm not confident. With that, Shelton Epler did end up leading the league in passing, though he did not play week 8. Xavier Bullock is finished second, and Abel Rosado in third. Tim Whitfield led the league in rushing. Chance Bell, Justin Lewis for the top 3, and then James Hop ran away with it in the receiving yards, followed by Jeremiah Knight, and Kelvin McKnight rounding off the top 3. So that is the postseason. Mexico, Archangels, Fundies, Cadillos. I will pray for my Fundies. We'll hop over to the ELF as we head into week 7. We will look back at week 6. Only really one surprise. Frankfurt losing to Paris is not. They're both decent teams. So the real surprise is Vienna losing to Rhine. Because Rhine is having down season and Vienna was still undefeated, and tough break. It was a real choke job, to be honest. But we'll start off Raiders Tirol versus the Helvetic Mercenaries. The Raiders came away 44-12. So Helvetic led all the statistical categories. Surprising considering the discrepancy in points. Josiah Norwood led the league game in passing and rushing, and then Milan Spiller led the game in receiving. For the Fire Vikings, Ben Holmes almost had 300 passing yards, but he got sacked 5 times, and he gave up a fumble for a touchdown. Jonas Schultz led the game in rushing, and Reed Horn led the game in receiving with 160 yards just about, so he had a good game, but too little, or not enough, and they lost 33-26. Stuttgart absolutely murdered Cologne 88-7. A lot of garbage time, so a lot of backups came in. Lars Heydrich led the game in passing with 201. Brian Yankson 126. Emil Rabin with 82 receiving yards.
Oh, sorry for the late join.
Welcome, way late, Kyle.
Thank you. Have you already started?
Yes. I'm already halfway through.
Oh, sweet. Sorry.
Because I'm just
long
living
day
through
here.
the Excel spreadsheet.
There.
Well, I'll just keep on going through the week. The Paris Musketeers beat the Galaxy 35-16. Matthew McKay led the game in passing, 235. Jalen Henderson, 93 rushing yards for the Musketeers, and Norman Schum with 79 receiving yards. The Munich Ravens beat the Berlin Thunder, who continue to struggle, 35-12. Jacob Sullivan, however, did have 300 passing yards. Justin Rodney had 97 rush yards, and then Tyler Foster had 147 receiving yards, so a very good game out of him for almost 150 yards. The Nordic Storm, believe it or not, were losing to the Panthers at one point, but came away with the easy win, 47-19. Jadian Clark had almost 400 passing yards. DeMarcus Irons for the Panthers did lead the game in rushing with 122, and then Brandon Veluilu for the Storm had 111 receiving yards. Prague Continues a very hot season so far. 19-14 win over Hamburg. Jean-Claude Medin for Hamburg, though, did lead the game in passing with 156. William Patterson for Prague did lead the game in rushing with 48 yards. It's a low number to lead the game with, but we'll take it with the win. And Deron Robinson, with 67 receiving yards, led the game in receiving. So Vienna at 4-1 is still leading the East Division. Prague 3-2 behind them. Nordic still undefeated. They also have the highest SRS with at 5-0. Rhine with a very good SRS themselves at 3-2. Munich leading the South with at 4-1. Stuttgart at 4-1 is leading the West. Though Paris is behind them. Oh, actually with a higher SRS somehow than Nordic. Who knows? Jacob Sullivan leading the league in passing because Madrid did not play this week, so Reed's in the game behind, as well as Jadrian Clark. Crispin Kai leading the league in rushing. Platt Scummer behind. Halls Wanter behind that. Aaron Krishank leading the league in receiving by a decent margin, followed by Brandon Galilu. And then another gap between them and Malik Stanley. Top three. Nordic gets a bye. Vienna has a bye right now. And then divisional rematches for the 3, 6, and 4, 5 matchups right now. Do you want to hop back and make your picks for the week, Kyle?
Yeah, let's make picks.
Okay. Edmonton, Winnipeg.
Edmonton, give me Winnipeg.
Montreal, Hamilton.
I mean, as stupid as I want to be, just give me Montreal.
Saskatchewan, BC.
Give me Saskatchewan.
And then Toronto, Ottawa.
Give me Ottawa.
I'm just finally putting a contingency that I only want Toronto if Chad Kelly is playing.
Sure.
For the LFA, for the first round of the playoffs, Mexico's Archangels.
Archangels are the new team, aren't they?
Yeah. And they just beat the Fundies, but that's because the Fundies benched all their players.
Yeah, fair.
And then Fundies versus the Caudillos.
Give me the Osos.
All right. Okay, and now we can go on to this week. Helvetic versus Nordic. That's easy. It's Nordic.
Helvetic. I would be once again. We go through this every week. Sorry, I had to check the scores. We go through this every week. The Helvetic are not good. Give me Nordic.
Yeah. Madrid, Hamburg. I'm going Madrid.
Yeah, give me Madrid.
Panthers and
I feel like that one could go either way. Panthers and Throners. Give me Panthers. They should win this.
Yeah, Paris, Cologne.
Paris, Cologne. Is Paris as good as they were last year?
They were 3-2, I think. And they have a very good SRS.
Give me Paris.
Prague, Frankfurt. Okay, I think Prague luck runs out of that.
Yeah, give me Prague.
You're gonna go with Prague?
Yeah, give me Prague.
Okay. I'd love for Prague to win, but I don't think they are.
Then give me Rheinfire here.
Yeah, because Berlin sucks for some reason, despite the fact they have a good quarterback.
And give me Stuttgart.
Yeah, Stuttgart. They just murdered their guy, and I think Vienna.
I mean, the Ravens could win this. Ravens could win. It's two good teams right now.
Yeah. Vienna Raiders.
Yeah, I'm thinking through it. It's going to be Vienna. It would be stupid for me to take anything else. I just like to think through them sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
as long as they don't have a massive choke job like they did against the Fire, they should be fine.
Yeah.
All right, we'll hop on over to the IFL. Are you wanting to actually pull up a game, Kyle, or are we just going to keep rolling through the spreadsheet?
Yeah. Let's just keep scrolling. Let's keep scrolling.
All right. Two of the games, stat pages were not loading when I was grabbing them, so just going to have to quickly skip over those ones. But Massachusetts beat Tulsa 58-37. Fisher Freight got the upset against Green Bay here in Hail Mary at the end of the game as time expired. Max Maylor did lead the game in passing. Vincent Espinoza, formerly of my Columbus Lines over the NAL, has come over to Fisher. He led the league in passing, or led the game in rushing. TJ Davis led the game in receiving. Jacksonville easily handled the Quad City, which was disappointing for me there. But DeQuan Neal had 188 passing yards. Tyler Huff for the Sharks had 188 rushing yards, and that's why you lose if you give up 200 yards on the ground. Kayvon Rudd led the game in receiving. Vegas put up an 80 burger against Iowa because Iowa defense is garbage. James Calhoun did have 300 passing yards for the Barnstormers, though. Antonio Wimbush had 65 rush yards for the Golden Nighthawks, in Golden Nighthawks style. And then Jalen Bracy had 115 receiving yards for the Barnstormers.
Hey, incredible game for the Nighthawks.
Yes, they had the new single game scoring record for them, which isn't surprising because 82 is a lot.
Yeah.
And they're only like 2 years old or 3 years
old.
I'm
just surprised they gave up 46.
Yeah, well, when you're kicking off that much, you know.
Fair.
Tucson beat Northern Arizona 59-38. Roman Atkins 161 for the Wranglers. James Williams for the Sugar Skulls with 59, and Deshaun Stoudemire led the game in receiving at 62. Bay Area handled the Rattlers 37-24. Dalton Sneed held in check, but still led the game in passing somehow with 89 yards. Josh Jones, Rash for 68, and Johannes Tyler led the game in receiving with 27 yards. So, whack game there. Lots of thing. And then the Strike Force beat the Gunslingers 53-49. I kind of wish I had the game stats for that because I would like to see how Nate Davis did. That being said, Quad City is still leading the Eastern Conference, and Bay Area is a good handle over on the West now with 2-game lead. Dalton Sneed leading the league in passing still, followed by Max Maylor and James Cahoon. Cahoon obviously gets a lot of, despite the fact he only played 8 games in third place, he gets a lot of garbage time to pile up yards because Iowa is always losing. TJ Edwards leading the league in rushing, followed by Booker Williams, Max Maylor, and then Kion Williams, Naquan Meyer, and Isaiah Huston over in receiving. If the postseason started today, Quad City versus Tulsa, Green Bay versus Jacksonville, Bay Area, Vegas, San Diego hosting Arizona. So that's the only real flip from last week. San Diego has hopped Arizona for second in the West. So for Fisher Tulsa, what do you think there, Kyle?
Fisher Tulsa?
Here we go, Tulsa.
Yeah, I was going to say Tulsa.
Quad City, Massachusetts. Did Massachusetts on the road. So.
Yeah, but I feel like it's hard not to go with Quad City right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Massachusetts usually sucks on the road.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I understood. Yeah, I forgot they're better at home.
Jacksonville, Iowa, that's Iowa's garbage.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's really only one answer there, as much as I'd love to meme it.
Green Bay, Arizona, both solid teams. Green Bay just lost. You're going to go Green Bay? I think I'm going to go Arizona because I'm going to take into part travel. Going from Green Bay to Arizona must suck in indoor football.
Vegas Golden Nighthawks are at home, right?
Yes, but I'm Green Bay area.
I feel like I should go Bay Area, but just give me the Nighthawks here. I have faith.
You can vote. Yeah, you can dick ride your own team. I do that to my own detriment all the time.
I gotta,
Yeah, Northern
Uh,
Arizona versus Tucson. I think this is the repeat of last week. Yeah, so it's back to back.
yeah, I'm not taking them again. Give me Tucson.
Alrighty, we'll hop on over to the AF1, which just had their semi-final matchups, where the Albany Firebirds murdered the shorthanded Salina Liberty 75-44. Kilgo playing for the concussed Rakeem Cato, so they were playing with their backup. He did throw 2 picks, but that's actually a better performance than what he usually did, so good for them there. But he also led the game in rushing with 22. And Malik Honeycutt had a really good game with 199 receiving yards. But it was a close game for a half, but Albany's really good in the second half adjustment, so they pulled away. And then Nashville South with Kansas was a good game, but Colcomania will continue as the Cats came away with a 48-13 victory. Jalen Morton did lead the game in passing, though, and rushing. And Charles Hall was the leading receiver. So the Arena Crown is the name of the championship, and will be in Albany at the Nashville Cats. We'll take them on. So I'm just going to take Albany and say they finished the undefeated season.
Yeah, I'm feeling Albany as well. I don't think they'd choke this.
The Cats have given them a good
Are we
couple
picking
games.
we picking like an over under points or no?
We can if you want.
I was just gonna say probably 110.
You're 110 for total points.
Yep.
I think he scores more than 40s.
Oh no, sorry. I thought I said Firebirds. That's my bad.
Oh, that was my bad.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why I figured I'd say like tiebreak.
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna win 10. I think it's gonna be in the 40s. So I'm gonna undercut you at 109.
Fair.
The opposite price is right.
Yeah, that's crazy because you're gonna get it. The odds of it going like 110 is really low.
All right, now hop over to the Arena League, and we did have full stats for all the games this time. So I have the leaders. It was a good week for the away team, as all 3 of them won, and my goats once again lost by 1. They are 1-3 with a negative point differential of -3. So we've lost all 3 of our games by 1 point.
That is incredible.
Or no, we've lost 2 of our 3 games by 1 point. It's amazing.
That is incredible.
Javonte Johnson for Duluth led the game in passing. Darius Morrison and Dan Williams, the very basic name Dan Williams, led the game in receiving, as the Harbor Monsters won 47-40 over Eau Claire. Ozarks got an upset for our picks, as we both picked the Wise Guys, and Jordan Ambrose threw 179 for the Wise Guys, but came away with the loss 45-41. Brandon Mackey led the game in rushing with 124. That's a lot of rushing yards in this league. And Lou Dorsey was the leader in receiving with 68. Over for the Woo Goats, it was a 74-73 game. So, no defense at all. Angelo Trujillo for the Goats threw for 443 yards. Jeff Mack ran for 64 for the Woo. And Boo Smith had 136 receiving yards. So, with a 400 performance, Trujillo has a pretty good gap now in the passing leaders, followed by Carlos Rogers and Javonte Johnson. Brandon Mackey, Jordan Ambrose and Carlos Rogers are 1, 2, 3 in rushing. Who Smith, Justin Brown, and Lorenzo Thompson 1, 2, 3 in receiving. Iowa right now is the highest SRS, but for some reason the league has Duluth listed first in standings, but that just might be alphabetical. So I'll give that.
Yeah, even if you go points for it, would be the Woo.
Yeah, it's probably. Well, actually, but somehow Ozark's ahead of Hot Springs, so I don't know what the
It really took
unless
the Woo just winning one playoff game, right, to really turn themselves around.
Yeah. So right now, Duluth is the 1 seed. Then they'll play the Wise Guys in Iowa, the 2 playing the Lunkers if the season ended today. So only my goats are missing the playoffs from the inaugural teams right now. So L for me. As the number 21 ranked goats fan in the entire world right now, Kyle. Because I went on the website like 6 times. I'm really disappointed in my guys. Hopefully Rakeem Cato will come back now that he's out of the AF1 postseason. With that, we'll hop over to Major League Rugby that just had their semifinal matchups. The New England Free Jacks came back and beat the Chicago Hounds 21-20. Let me tell you, this game was the biggest choke job since the other choke job this week. Chicago blew a 17 to nothing lead.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, as a long-suffering Hounds fan, it made me very sad. I guess I forgot to put the SRS. Oops. I might be able to pull them.
Did we pick games on this?
We did. I just didn't copy them over because I didn't want to watch the video back.
Fair. I wanted to say I picked both, right? I think I picked Sabercats and Free Jacks.
I believe I picked the Hounds, but I know I picked Houston because we had to debate whether or not Houston was going to choke in the semifinal or the final, and we both decided to choke in the final.
Yeah, choke in the finals. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Sweet! I can't wait to three-peat.
Yep. So here is what the SRS is. So Houston is actually the highest SRS right now, but they're playing the number 2 SRS. So. I guess you can't see it, but it's 8.8888 for Houston and 7.5 for New England. So I guess I'm going New England because I expect Houston's going to blow it.
Yeah, give me New England and then give me 51 points.
51.
I feel like that's a good guess.
That is a good guess. I'm just gonna undercut you again. Screw you, Kyle. You know what? I'll overcut you, so you can have the under.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And then, heading over to the Australian Football League. It was a decent week. There weren't as many low-scoring games as there was last week. But Fremantle beat Eston. Brisbane beat Geelong by a pretty good margin, so Brisbane's defense came back. North Melbourne got a W against Carlton, so good for the Roos. Collingwood remembered how to play Collingwood beat the Saints. Then Sydney remembered how to play football again for the week at least and beat Port Adelaide. GWS squeaked by Gold Coast in a close one, 106-99. So that's the game of the week there, obviously. And then Western handled Richmond 136-56. So.
Nice. Sorry, I'm just looking through to remember what I picked. I definitely didn't pick the Ruse. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I probably did not pick the Rays. I'm pretty sure I picked the Geelong Cats, so I know I missed there. Uh, that
I
being
think I matched you on that.
Yeah, that being said, I don't think anything. Western might have swapped with Gold Coast in the top 8. I think. I
They
don't.
did.
Yeah, then anything else, I don't think anything changed. So it's pretty good because there's only one SRS above 0 that's outside the top 8. So.
Yeah.
Carlton versus Port Adelaide. How you feeling there? It's kind of a battle of mid. I'll go Port
Yeah, it
Adelaide.
kind of is. Give me Blues.
You're gonna go Blues. Sydney versus Western.
Give
Depends
me.
whether or not Sydney remembers how to play football, but I have not seen them do that in multiple back-to-back weeks. So I'll go Western.
That's fair. Give me Western.
I'll say that, but Sydney can win. Collingwood. So best team versus worst team. So I'll
It
go.
would be really funny, but give me Magpies.
Yeah, it wouldn't be funny. It'd be very upsetting. I can't pick
For you.
I can't pick the Demons. So I'm going Gold Coast. I just think the Suns are better. So
Yeah, Demons are nice. Demons were playing pretty well last season, but they've just not had a good start so
yeah, well,
far.
maybe they shouldn't have sold their soul to the Demons.
Oh,
They
fair.
should have chosen Christ. I'll even know them and the Saints have the exact same record.
Give me the Suns. Doesn't matter who you're with.
Yeah. North Melbourne versus Hawthorn. Hawthorn.
Can the Roos get a back-to-back win?
Probably
Hawks are, probably not.
Hawks are in the top
pretty good.
8. Yeah.
Versus the bottom 3. Then give me Fremantle Dockers on the next one.
Fremantle. Oh, sorry, you wanted Fremantle. I don't know what I want yet. Fremantle versus the Saints. Yeah, that because one's inside the 8 and the other one's not. And then Adelaide versus Richmond. So good team versus
Yeah, give me Adelaide. Yep.
Yeah. It's really like the top 8 in Gold Coast. The top 9 is a group, and then the next group is 10 through 16, and then there's another drop between Richmond and West Coast.
Yeah.
And if the postseason started today, Collingwood, Adelaide game, so Battle of the Birds, Brisbane, Geelong, Battle of the Kitty Cats. In the top 4s, Hawthorn, Bulldogs, Fremantle, GWS. It's very interesting that the top 4 is 2 birds and 2 cats. That's just kind of silly.
It is. Yeah, that is very silly.
All right. Do you have any closing statements you want to go over, Kyle?
No, nothing from me.
Because you joined like 2/3 of the way through the episode.
Yep, made it easy on you.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will talk to everybody next week with maybe or maybe not a co-host, whether or not they show up. Cough, cough.
Yeah, maybe I'll just show up late again.
Not even
But
original.
actually,
Nate did that to me on his very last episode, and then he left before the episode finished. So you at least stayed the full way.
Well,
I'm just gonna assume you left. All right.
All right, I'm back.